Hello and welcome to Freedom Through Astrology, where we're giving you the keys. And my camera is still messed up amongst some other technological issues today. So I'm just going to minimize this and pull that down. And it's freedomthroughastrology.com. My name is Donald Patak, and I am your astrologer. There's my contact information and standard YouTube copyright with the I do not want my content training AI LLMs attached to it. Keys to the reading one, because I do read differently. First of all, I use constellation-based astrology, sometimes called true sidereal. This is astrology by the visible sky. Tropical astrology is the way the sky looked back in Roman times, around 200 AD-ish. The sky's changed since then. Any astronomer will tell you that. So what I'm doing is astrology by astronomy. So every 72 years, it's called precession of the equinox. Every 72 years, it goes the ascendant moves 1 degree into the towards the previous sign. So right now we're in Pisces and it's moving towards Aquarius. It's how we get our astrological ages. And with working with the visible sky, I do read 13 signs between Sagittarius and Scorpio, reading backwards today, is the sign of Ophiuchus. It's a symbol of a person holding a snake by head and tail. Snake was a symbol of knowledge in ancient times, and holding it by the head and tail meant control or use of. And the stories of Ophiuchus or Asclepius, many different traditions. It was using the knowledge to heal himself so he could heal other people. So it's the sign of the wounded healer. And I do use the natural size of the constellations. Virgo is huge at just under 50 degrees versus Libra, Scorpio, Ophiuchus. Each of them individually is less than 25 degrees. The three of them together don't even make 75 degrees in the sky. Mother Nature and her wisdom made the constellations all different sizes. So I respect that. And I use astrological midpoints because the IAU boundaries are arbitrarily drawn. Athan Shimenti noted this in his work when he was zooming in on the IAU boundary between Scorpio and Ophiuchus and noticed stars from Scorpio over the boundary of Ophiuchus on the Ophiuchus side. So he came up with his midpoint system where he looked at the zodiac belt, last bright star of Scorpio, first bright star of Ophiuchus. What's the halfway point? It works. I like it. I think it feels more accurate to me. Keys to the reading, part two. I interpret using evolutionary astrology, which says these transits are lessons to learn, and you have freedom of choice. You get to decide how you're going to work with this information. You're fated to face these transits. It's just how do you want to work with them? That's the key there. Weekly edition. So these are universal lessons for everybody on the planet. So do have some compassion on your fellow Earth travelers. Dates and times are based on the Eastern U.S. time zone, as I do live outside of Buffalo, New York. I'm operating within 1 degree of exact because if it was bigger than that, I would be overwhelmed and you'd be lost. So this does make it a little bit more manageable. And the software that I'm using currently is Capricorn by Prometheus. Okay, and this is the week for December 22nd through 28th, 2025. I'm being swarmed by cats here. One moment. And we have the sun in Sagittarius right now. So it is Sagittarius season. Celebrating the holidays, that Sagittarius is about appropriate for that. Loves a good party. The moon begins the week in Sagittarius and will end in Pisces. The moon is actually very stable this week. It's a nice calm week with transits when we get to the transit map. We do have the first quarter moon. Last week it was supposed to be new moon in Sagittarius. I mislabeled it as full moon. It was last week was the new moon. We are now in the first quarter moon, and it will be in Pisces on December 27th at 14:27 or 2:27 p.m. Eastern time. So it'll be nice in the afternoon there. We do have two sign changes because of these small signs. We have Mercury entering Ophiuchus, and Venus is entering Sagittarius. The active planets for the week are going to be Mercury and Venus. And on the outer planets, it's Jupiter making the big power transit. And our retrograde parade currently is Jupiter, Uranus, and Chiron, the asteroid. Let's go to our map for the week. And yes, my voice is doing incredibly better. Thank you. Oh, no, back one. It did not. There we go. And anything above, whoops, this line is a holdover from last week. Anything below is new. Let's take a look at the moon. We start in Sagittarius on Monday. It's in Capricorn. Wednesday, we're in, oops, didn't circle there. Wednesday, we're in Sagittarius, or not Sagittarius, Aquarius. We're in one of the ESs. And on Friday, we're in Pisces, and we'll end the week there. So the moon is actually relatively stable, very calm there. We do have the first quarter moon in Pisces on Saturday. So Saturday will be a little busy. The big power day of the week is actually Monday, when we do have Mercury entering Ophiuchus, Venus entering Sagittarius, and then with the moon entering Capricorn. So that's kind of the intense day of the week, and the rest of the week is just kind of chill. We do have Venus squaring Neptune Tuesday and into Wednesday, and Saturday into Sunday. We do have Mercury trining Chiron, and that will have the first quarter moon there. So it might be a little bit more intense there this week. It's a very calm week, actually. And then late Sunday night, we do have Mars sextiling the North Node, which really means next week we'll see more of that. That's going to be an interesting transit there. But overall, it's a relatively calm week, which is nice. Let me clear all this out, close that out. Not sure I like this new update in Zoom. I really got to find something else. Yeah, but that said, it's a very calm and relatively quiet week, with the exception of that 2 sign changes on Monday. So holdover from last week, we do have Jupiter in Gemini squaring Chiron and Pisces, both retrograde. So retrograde is a time of reflection. And so Jupiter, opportunity to, in Gemini, learn and communicate. How is that in a square? Squares are opportunities to strengthen. These are challenges that help strengthen you. So ideally, this is strengthening your ability to heal, understand wounds maybe from a different perspective or a higher perspective, and then release them. And can you come on down here? There you go. Sit on my lap. Your kitten commercial there today is actually Kit, who wants to sit on my lap next to the oil heater. So this is actually, it was a long transit. It begins on December 9th, was exact on the solstice. And current projections, 29th, 30th, 31st. Yeah, I even have one projection that I ran that has it going into January. So this is going to be carrying on for a little bit. We'll know better next week. But that's the ideal. Are you taking the opportunity to learn, and how is that helping you to understand the wounds, heal them, and release them? The shadow is a crisis of confidence, whether that's over and under. In Gemini, being scatterbrained, thinking you know it all, you can't learn it all, unfocused, I would almost dare say undisciplined. And instead of a square being a strengthening module, this is where the square becomes a stumbling block or a crushing burden. So as you're making a mess of your ability to learn and communicate, how is that creating problems in your ability to heal, understand wounds, and release, understand wounds, heal them, and release them? And in fact, it's doing the exact opposite. You're actually refusing to heal and wounding yourself and potentially others more deeply. From Friday, the moon enters Sagittarius. And the moon entering Sagittarius, the moon just looking for something new. Emotionally, you're ready for something new, something fresh, something fun. And be open to new opportunities and experiences. In the shadow is just falling into the status quo and doing tomorrow what you did yesterday, because that's just the way life is. And it gets you kind of caught up in a cycle of mindless tradition that fuels boredom. So it's either you're pursuing excitement or you're falling into this boring rut. And from Saturday, we do have Mercury in Scorpio squaring the South Node in Leo. So, Mercury, learning and communication in Scorpio, going deep, pulling back the layers, like Toto and the Wizard of Oz, pulling back the curtain to seeing what's behind the curtain. And how is this strengthening your ability to see how you've held yourself back with pointless, useless, meaningless drama? So these mental breakthroughs are just helping you pull back the curtain and seeing how you hold yourself back needlessly. The shadow here is rigid, defensive. Mercury and Scorpio can be words that wound. And how does that create a stumbling block? How does that become a crushing burden that fuels pointless drama that just makes a mess of everything? And here's another cat. Come on, down on my lap. Come on, Silky. This is interesting. I've got yin and yang on my lap. Kit is all white and Silky is all black, and he's a long hair on top of that. Okay, kitten commercial is over. I'm sorry. Uh, but yeah, that cynical, defeatist attitude can fuel pointless drama that holds you back, leads to a stumbling block and a crushing burden, and just fuels pointless drama and childish behaviors. Yeah. So Monday, Mercury enters Ophiuchus. Now, if Mercury in Scorpio, learning deeply, or using words to wound, Mercury in Ophiuchus is the healing power of learning, the healing power of communication, words that heal, learning how to heal. What was the other thing that I have written here in my notes? So yeah, it's learning to heal how you think, how you believe, and how you communicate. And learning the power of words in a healing journey and how perception can affect it. Also learning the wisdom of when to use this wisdom with others. So so that's very potent right there. The shadow here is refusing to learn how to heal or using the knowledge to wound yourself and others. And when you wound others, ultimately you hurt yourself more deeply as well, and you get yourself caught up in a tangle of pain. It's also distracting yourself from the healing journey. So yeah. And also on Monday, we have Venus entering Sagittarius. Let's remember, Venus represents, we always focus on Venus being relationships, and it is. Let's also remember that Venus also governs the arts and creativity. So whether it's in the physical medium or it's music, what have you, Venus governs the arts, and Venus is also about rest and recreation. And in Sagittarius, it's learning to have faith and trust in yourself, in your abilities, and to get up, go out, and do it. If Gemini is sitting in the library studying how to do these things, Sagittarius is let's get up, go out, and do it, and explore. I kind of say if you've got strong Sagittarius energy in your chart, you're an explorer. You like to get up. Don't bother talking to me about it. Let's get up and do it. So open up and explore everything on a more deeper level. Explore those things on a more deeper level. What do you like? Why? And just take everything and start doing it. Start building your relationships, making them stronger, exploring your creativity. I'm going to use Pablo Picasso as an example. Take a look at all the different styles that he did in his career. He started out as what we would call as a standard artist, but then he went through his blue period. Then he had his cubism and all this different experimentation. That's Sagittarius. Relationships. Go out and meet new people. People who would normally talk to you. Creativity. Look at the different ways, different styles of music, different styles of art, or rest. What are all the different ways you can just calm down and chill out? The shadow here is being slick and manipulative, and that can fuel a crisis of confidence with your relationships, either overconfident or not confident at all. So that can actually damage your relationships. Creativity can stay stuck and become boring, or just become so eccentric that nobody wants to deal with it. I mean, there's avant-garde and then there's annoying. Let's be honest. I've seen people do stuff in art just for the purpose of getting a reaction, and that's not where you want to go. There's cutting edge, and then there's blah. And then finally, instead of resting, you just burn the candle at both ends and burn yourself out. And finally, on Monday, we have the moon entering Capricorn. Emotionally, you're ready to get up and do something and to take action and accept the challenges that come your way. Discipline leads, and you feel that when you discipline yourself, you find success. The shadow here is you can becoming a control freak, trying to micromanage everyone and everything, and this can leave you feeling isolated and alone. Kat, my hand is not a mouse for you to play with. Granted, I'm using a computer mouse, but it's a different type of mouse. And on Tuesday, Venus in Sagittarius is squaring Neptune in Pisces. When we talked about Venus in Sagittarius, Neptune. Yeah, why did I circle Saturn? It's supposed to be Neptune. Neptune. Venus squaring Neptune. How is your relationships with others strengthening your spiritual ability or your ability to be present? Are you being present with people? Because squares are challenges, again, that are designed to strengthen you. So Neptune in Pisces, don't just do something, sit there. Be present with the people you're with. How is that strengthening your relationships? How is being with people helping you to realize, hey, I got to pay attention to those around me? Also, how is your art informing your spirituality? Because I do believe Neptune, it speaks about your spiritual self and your spiritual practices. So art inspiring spirituality and drawing you into that more. And also just chilling out. I used to be in a fundamentalist church, and I had a pastor that constantly said, in the Bible, how many times, God's not in the thunderstorms and all this wild stuff. It's the still, small, quiet voice. So spirit doesn't speak in noise. Spirit speaks in the calm and the quiet. When you chill out and you relax, how is that strengthening your ability to contact and be in contact and strengthen your spiritual self and your spiritual practices? The Bible verse that they always love to quote is, "Be still and know that I am the Lord." So yeah, how is calming out strengthening your spirituality and your ability to contact and be with spirit? The shadow here is, excuse me, Venus can be shallow, superficial, slick, manipulative, and that can lead to problems in relationships, idle fantasies, or your desire to hide away and escape from reality. This Venus with all that slick, manipulative, lazy, and just burning the candle at both ends can actually become a stumbling block and a crushing burden that cripples your ability to operate or be with and work with spirit, and just even being present within yourself and with others. Wednesday, oops, I gotta clear that out. Close. Wednesday, moon enters Aquarius. Emotionally, you just want a little freedom. Take a break, finding a little independence and experience the feelings of freedom, and look to situations that provide you with choices. Aquarius likes choice. Freedom of choice, very important to Aquarius. And follow the ones that speak to your soul. Betraying yourself by selling yourself out to others' expectations can leave you feeling hollow and empty. And when I say selling yourself out, it's either selling yourself out to fit in with a crowd, and it's filling in with the normal people, or it's filling out with those people who act out in ways to get reactions from other people. It's like, hey, you didn't pay attention when I got my hair put into a mohawk, so now I'm going to put in a mohawk and I'm going to dye it bright pink so you have no choice but to notice me. It's doing things to get a reaction from people. So at its core, you're selling yourself out to be something that you are not. Thursday, December 25th, take a breath. Remember to exhale. Repeat. If you do celebrate the Christmas holidays, enjoy being with people. On Friday, the moon enters Pisces. Interesting. That's Boxing Day in Canada and the UK. Open up to new vision and inspiration for yourself. Your inner life and your spiritual growth can become very important. And on the shadow, this is where you withdraw from life, isolating yourself, and fall into escapist practices and tendencies. Hold on a second. Blast a tea there. And we're going to have, this is second or third, depending on who's doing the counting. I think it's the Pisces is the third largest sign in the sky, and it's going to cross over Saturn, self-discipline, Neptune, spirituality, and Chiron, healing. Good experience there. Saturday, December 27th, we have the first quarter moon in Pisces at 14:27. That's 2:27 p.m. Eastern time. So the moon in Pisces, you finding your inspiration, how is that strengthening your sun, your core identity, and the desire to get up, go out, and explore the world and do new things and explore who you really are? So how is inspiration supporting your exploration? How is your soul strengthening your core identity? The shadow here, and that can be a very healing experience as well. Whoops. And in the shadow, the moon in Pisces, it can be feeling lost or alone, and that can get you caught up in idle fantasies and leave you trapped in the past or getting you caught up in bored situations. And I know I don't want you sitting. I know you like playing with the mouse, but that's not the mouse I want you playing with. Can't wait till I get my office cleaned out and fixed up. So trying to escape from the world leaves you feeling bored, isolated, and alone. And also on Saturday, we have, this is a quick transit, as you can see, exact late and leaving on the 28th, actually. Mercury in Ophiuchus, learning to heal. How is that helping you to, this is a support and this is a waning, so this is releasing. How is this helping you to understand wounds and from a different perspective, heal them, release them, let them go? So learning to heal, the power of words or thoughts in healing can help support the ability to heal and release your wounds. Like I said, an understanding from a higher perspective can also help you release them as well. The shadow here is those wounds that wound can become deeply wounding of yourself, also potentially of other people. Mercury can be rigid and defensive and stuck in a mindset, and this can become deeply wounding of yourself. Also, misusing healing knowledge and the information can result in deeper wounding of yourself and others. And the desire here can to be tired to escape, numb the pain any way possible. The other side of the coin is misery loves company, and boy, will this make you and a lot of people miserable potentially. And on Sunday the 28th, this happens very, very late Sunday night. And it will be more prominent next week. But we have Mars in Sagittarius, the courage to get up, go out and explore, develop, and learning to have that assertiveness. And this isn't a sex how, which is an excitement or interest. So as you're getting out, going out and exploring and learning new things, how is this informing or creating an interest in your North Node, your destiny and purpose in life? And in Aquarius, making your destiny or purpose authentic to you. Key to any of the nodes is understanding where they are in your birth chart, because that tells you the core lesson you're learning with it. So for me, my North Node is in Pisces, so I'm learning spirituality and stuff like that. With the North Node in Aquarius, I am now making those spiritual practices more authentic to myself and more unique to me. That's an example there. And the 28th, 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 28 So, and having that courage to explore and look at different practices, looking at different things, how is that helping you to make your destiny your own? And the shadow here, Mars can fall into anger, into fear, and that can come across as anger or cowardice. In Sagittarius, that crisis of confidence, overconfidence or underconfidence, and either one will make irresponsible decisions, and that can fuel feelings of nervousness and failure, etc. And as it fuels that North Node, instead of you fulfilling your destiny, you're denying your destiny, or you're selling it out to other people's expectations. And that's you're trying to fit in where you don't belong. And that can be with the, as I call it, the normal crowd. This is the proper way to do it, and this is the way you're supposed to do it. So we're all doing it this way. You have to do it. Or those people who are acting out to get a reaction. So there's that. And like I said, I've run a couple models on this, and it appears that at the time that I ran it today, December 30th, early on the 30th was exact. And then it looked to go into the 31st or even into January 1st, possibly January 2nd. So we'll have more clear on this next week. But there you go. And next week we'll be adding in the South Node. So that's your week in a nutshell. Do like, follow, and share. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. You're watching this video. It's on YouTube. On Facebook and Instagram, I do what I call daily deep dives, where I do take transits a little bit more deeply. And I'm also on the Digital Soul Space. These three companies are making millions, if not billions of dollars off of people's data and not giving the people their fair share. Digital Soul Space is hosted on the Mighty Networks, which means you have control of your data, who gets access to it, and how it's used. And we have 4 great moderators. It's a troll-free zone. We actually had an incident where the moderators had to actually message someone and say, hey, what you posted there is just not in the spirit of what we do. So I call it the spirituals troll-free zone. It's a wonderful place. I do astrology, but there's crystals, tarot, oracle cards, a wide variety of spiritual practices. We actually had on the solstice, we had a special gathering. People wanted to be involved, and we had several people do mediumship for those who are involved. It was very interesting. And those, when they do those special events, you actually have to register for them, and only people are allowed in are the people in the event. And what else? Or is it that way? Yeah, it's a special event, and the only people who have access to the recording are the people who are actually registered for it. It's really, really interesting. There's some really great people. If you ask a question, people are going to share what they know. It's a wonderful place to hang out. I know I carry on too long about it, but it's a great place to hang out. I do readings and I do offer packages. Quick Six, if you want to see how your chart changes, Quick Six will help you see with 6 key points. I do generate the full chart, but I only talk about 6 key points on it: the sun, moon, ascendant, chart ruler, south node, and north node. If you want to know your full birth contract, who did I come here to be? That's your birth chart or natal chart reading. If you notice there are certain patterns that repeat in your life, and it's like, why does this always happen to me? That can be discovered in the karmic or past life reading. If you believe in past lives, you're repeating a life, so to speak, in principle, so that you can heal those wounds in this lifetime. I can help you understand what that is so that you understand the pattern so that you can address it. And I also do horoscopes, 1 year, any 12 months in a row, any 3 months in a row, or any 1 month. And for the 1 month, it can be the first of the month to the last, new moon to new moon, or any 30 odd days in a row. And I do packages that combine these and have a 10% discount built in. So do like, follow, and share. And if you go on my website, you'll get a pop-up asking you for an email address, once a week newsletter. If you close that out in the upper right-hand corner, you will see a square that says sign up. Just click on that. All I need is an email. You can order readings under services. If you got questions about the packages, do email me, and I'll be more than happy to help you out with that. I think that's under scheduling. Like, follow, share, and in the visible sky, your life changes. Thank you very much. Whatever holiday you celebrate, enjoy it, be happy, have a great week. Remember, in visible sky, your life changes. Have the best week possible, and thank you.